Alright, so IDW taking that baseball bat and knocking them out of the park once again. It has been officially announced that IDW will be doing Jurassic World comics. They have now officially, they are officially going to be doing Jurassic World comics starting in 2017. However, the creative team, at least from the article I read, said the creative team has not been announced yet, but they are doing that. Now, if you guys remember, IDW a while back, a couple years back, did Jurassic Park comics, but yeah, the redemption story wasn't that great. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like... there were some weird continuity errors. Like, the one paleontologist from Lost World was somehow back there again, and Lex was weird. It was a really oddball comic. But no, I'm really interested in them doing Jurassic World comics now. They haven't really announced the story, but they're... from what I can gather is that this will take place after the events of the first Jurassic World movie and will be setting in between the two films. So, yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. This is it's a very cool idea of them doing going back to, the Jurassic Park universe and playing around with this. They did show an image of an I-Rex, so I'm wondering, are they going to do something with the I-Rex again? Are they going to try to do another one? Or what's the deal there? Or is it just promotional artwork? That's what I'm thinking, it's just promotional artwork. So, with IDW, of course, they've just been taking, like I said, they've been taking that baseball bat and knocking them out of the park every single time. They've just been taking that baseball bat and knocking it out of the park. So I think it's a really cool idea that we're going to be seeing, not just Godzilla, but, more stuff with giant reptiles. Yay! Now, the other thing with this story is that obviously Jurassic World, after the events of that film, Jurassic World has been cut off. It's once again, the park is closed, the dinosaurs are running around, and I'm really curious to see, maybe we can finally delve into, Isla Nublar? Or is it Isla Sorna that has all the free-range dinosaurs, which makes no sense? No, I think it's it's Isla Nublar that has all the loose dinosaurs. I always get the two mixed up, forgive me. But yeah, maybe we can finally figure out what's going on Isla Nublar. But then again, Colin Trevorrow said that they weren't following the continuity of the other two films. But on the other hand, they do kind of leave it open-ended at the same time. So maybe we can figure out what's going on Isla Nublar and what happened there, and, were the dinosaurs still running around free, or was there something else going on there? So I'm curious to see where that goes for, I think that would be a cool story to go to, especially in this kind of storyline. I think that would be a really fun angle to play with. Also, I'd like to see, I think it was Blue that survived. Blue's story, because technically, at least as far as we know, Blue is the only surviving raptor left. Blue is the last raptor. Blue, the last raptor bender. Oh, that was a bad one. That was a bad joke. But no, I'd like to see a miniseries revolving around her, and her kind of surviving, because, most pack hunters don't do well on their own. Raptors were, apex predators, but they were pack hunters as well. And usually, if you're, Animal Kingdom-wise, if you're a pack hunter and you're on your own, your rate of success is not going to do well unless you have buddies at your back. So I'd be really curious to see, maybe there were, maybe there were other raptors, more like the classic type raptors that we saw in Jurassic Park. That could be that. I think that would be an interesting idea. Is maybe see that because I know, yes, that the raptors from the first film were all killed, but I think it would be cool. Is maybe they in the early stages they were cloning and made them more like the design of the original raptors. They broke out during the events of Jurassic World, and Blue comes across them and is like, "Who the hell are? Oh my God, I'm not alone." Something like that. I think that would be cool. I would even like to see maybe a story revolving around the T-Rex, because, yeah, she's old, she's messed up, it's clear that she's had some years on her, especially now that she's wounded after her fight with the I-Rex. The Queen is very old, and that old gray T-Rex ain't what she used to be. So yeah, I know I'm talking about stories revolving around the dinosaurs, and yeah, that's not uncommon. I mean, Dark Horse did Age of Reptiles, which is usually just big artwork with panels, with small panels telling you a story. So I don't see why you could do, you can't do stories around that, revolving around Blue and or the T-Rex. So, you could do that. I think that would be a cool idea. Maybe introduce some new characters. I think that would be cool. Because I've always had this idea for a Jurassic Park film, and this has also been a crossover that I've always wanted to do, like as a comic. I've always wanted to do this as a comic. And again, with, IDW, crossovers abound, crossover ideas abound. But let me throw out this idea, and I've always thought of it as also a crossover. But I've always had this idea for a Jurassic Park story where a group of big game hunters, a group of like high society big game hunters, they've hunted elk and all these other like endangered animals, but now they're getting tired of it, so they more or less weasel their way, pay off some people, pay off some guards, and they sneak onto the island to hunt dinosaurs. They more or less get on there to hunt dinosaurs and realize, oh yeah, it's fucking dinosaurs, they can fucking kill us. Yeah, and I've always had that as like an idea. You could work it around that you have these big game hunters on the island, and at the same time, there's a predator on the island, and he's hunting the dinosaurs as well. And then he's like, "Oh, there's humans here. Oh, goody." So yeah, you could just take the predator out, and it would still be kind of a kick-ass Jurassic Park story, in my opinion. Just add that's always been my idea for seeing Jurassic Park and Predator crossover. That's always been my dream idea. That's one of the crossovers I've always wanted to see. But yeah, it all depends on if Universal allows this, because again, even though they have the comic book license, they still have to run it. No matter what they own, to do comic book rights of, they have to run every idea by their initial license. The people they're licensing it from. No matter what the idea is, they have to run it by Universal or Hasbro or whoever to get the consent to do that, because it may clash with their ideas. So, yeah. All in all, I think this is a really cool idea. I can't wait to see how this comic plays out. But yeah, once again, you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the upcoming Jurassic World comics? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.